Hey, today I want to talk to you about something that might seem not exactly related to sales or sales training or coaching. That's a commitment. What is a commitment? In this reference, what I mean is your commitment to your decision to change, to improve, commitment to be successful, or at least do the things that are guaranteed to make you successful. Decision is an interesting word. Definition is that it's a conclusion or resolution or determination reached after consideration. Decision also shares, it's a similar word, shares the same root from Latin with things like incision, precision, circumcision, basically anything that's related to cutting. If you decide you cut your life, new life starts from today. That's basically what it is. And I'm going to talk to you about why it's important, what are you going to be committed to, and what's going to happen if you don't commit. So let's talk about why do you need to commit. Commitment will help you program your brain. Once you commit to something, you're giving your own brain a command, you give it a program, so it helps you to achieve things that you want to achieve. And it's kind of like one thing leads to another. You need those goals and commitments and big reasons why you're doing these things to achieve those things. Basically, you get the program, you program it into your brain, which is your computer, and it achieves those things. It's that easy, but there are some things that are difficult about it, and we'll talk about what happens if you don't commit and why people don't commit. You do need to program your brain so you can start changing, so you can get out of your comfort zone and reframe your attitude towards things that slow us down, things like fear, rejection, problems at work. Apologize. You need to get out of your comfort zone and start changing for a simple reason. Uh, Definition of insanity is doing the same thing except expecting different result. So if you keep doing what you've been doing, you cannot expect getting anything else. You need to change. You need to try different things. And those things will be out of your comfort zone. And getting out of the comfort zone is difficult, it's scary, sometimes it's physically impossible. So let's move on. So what's going to happen again if you don't commit? Nothing. Everything's going to stay the same, well, almost the same. You will stay the same, but other people will get better. Market will change. You will get older. Younger people will come in and they will take over your clients. That's what's going to happen. So, think about that. See how that feels. When is a good time to start? There's a lot of cliches about it. When is a good time to plant a tree? Well, the good time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. What is the next best time to plant a tree? Today. Same with exercise. When is the best time to start exercising? When you're 18. Well, if you're 45, then just start now. There's no other time. Nothing's going to change. Just to get a little bit more spiritual, give you a different frame of how to think about this, is think about karma. So karma is kind of a vague concept in Buddhism and Western, maybe Hinduism. It's a lot of people see it as that if you do good things, then in the afterlife or in the next life, you're going to get rewarded for it. But some Buddhists see it differently. Every time you make a choice, make a decision, you change the course of your life. And good karma is when after you make that change, your life goes in the better direction. Instead of going this way, which is the same way or worse, it's going to the better way. So this is how you get good karma. And what is good karma? Better life, achievement, success, happiness, just living longer. Those benefits you cannot count them. Now, why haven't you done that? Why haven't people decide? Why do they not commit? The biggest one is the fear of failure. Fear of commitment is that if you decide on something, I talked about this, about goals, about having good big reasons. What happens is if you set a goal, you specify your conditions of failure, which means it's like if I commit to lose weight and then I don't lose weight, I fail. Failure is painful. Psychologically, it's not pleasant, and my brain's going to do things to try to avoid that. So we don't commit. fear of burning bridges. There's the story of conquistadors that got to America and actually burned their ships, so they did not have a chance to go back. Did not end it good for anybody, but that's something that actually works, and that's what we're scared to do because it is scary. If you don't have a way to go back, you don't have a way to go back. It is scary. There's this thing also that a lot of times we want to have the cake and eat it too. We want to have all the opportunities. We don't want to decide, so we cut out other opportunities. And this is natural, but this is going to slow you down. If you don't commit, if you don't make this decision, if you don't commit to yourself, you will slow yourself down. Now, think about this. We're in sales. You're in sales. Why don't your customers decide? Why can't your customers commit to things? Okay, and we'll talk about this, how this relates to sales specifically, but look at everybody. Look at how it goes in relationships, that people always complain specifically about men, that men don't want to commit. Why don't they want to commit? They want to keep their options open. Does it work out well? Usually it doesn't. All right, let's move on. Why do you need to commit? Well, let's talk about it again. Some people, if you think about your potential and the good things that will come from commitment, that's one thing that might work for you. For some people, it's better to think about the other thing. What will happen? What's going to be the pain if you don't commit? And I already talked about this a little bit. If you don't change, what's going to happen? Nothing good's going to happen. Okay? Statistically, if you don't change, everything else will change. You will stay the same. And most likely, your position in the world, in life, in the hierarchy will go down compared to other people. Okay, so there's a process. If you want to really scare yourself, it's really easy. Sit down, imagine what will happen in 5 or 10 years. Where are you in 5 or 10 years if you don't change anything at all? Think about new people coming in, new salespeople coming in. They are more energetic, more motivated than you. Customers change. Customers learn about your tactics and tricks, and now they can fight it better. Now they have new ways. You don't have new ways. Okay, you did not change. Your health deteriorates. You get older. If you don't do anything about it, it's harder for you to do the same thing, so you start doing less. What is it going to do to you? How much money you're going to lose? You can actually calculate this. If your income keeps going down, inflation keeps rising, other people keep making more money, how much money are you missing? What is it going to do to your relationships, your family? So, if that helps you, great. If you're more a positive person, listen to the video about goals. Listen to the video about getting a big reason, the why you're doing this. Think about, put a goal, put a big picture where you see yourself in 5 years. Where do you want to be yourself? When do you want to be you, your family, the community in 5 or 10 years? Comfort. So commitment goes against comfort. If your goal is to be comfortable right now, it's just not going to work. What happens to comfortable people? Again, there's this story, which is probably not true, but it's a good metaphor, is frogs. Then supposedly, if you put a pan with water on gas and put frogs in, you can boil them and it's just going to sit there because they're comfortable. If you put a frog in the boiling water, of course, they're going to feel the difference. They're going to just jump out and they're going to survive. So again, that's what might happen if you don't commit, if you don't decide to change and decide to start moving on. Also going back a little bit to this metaphysics and spiritual stuff, decisions are hard. There are books, there are studies, there are scientists working on why people procrastinate. Why is this that somebody will know they need to exercise, they want to exercise, they think, today I'm going to run whatever, 2 miles for the first time, or tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, they wake up, it just doesn't happen. They cannot get themselves to move. So I don't have a fix for that. I procrastinate, okay? I have difficulties. We all do that. So this is just a challenge for you. Do you have free will? Can you make this decision? Can you decide? Doesn't have to be something big. Decide that for the next week, you will follow this program. Decide that for the next week, you're going to go out in the morning and walk for a mile if you never walk, or walk for a mile more that you walked before. Doesn't matter what it is. Just try it. And again, that's just a challenge. Um, let's see, why is it important? And I touched on this a little bit. So in sales, we see what happens to people and how people get stuck in this mode. And even though you might have all the proof that they should decide right now, you have the right product for them, it's within their budget, it's limited time offer, and still they cannot decide. So why is it important for you as a salesperson, as a sales professional, to make decision for yourself? Because this job is unique. Your job is to make people decide. Your job is to influence people. And think about this. If you cannot convince yourself, how can you expect to convince anybody else? If you cannot sell yourself to yourself, how can you expect to do this to other people? Does it make any sense to you? And some companies actually do that and encourage it. I encourage people, if I sell BMWs, I'm going to be driving a BMW. It's more expensive. Maybe it's not what I really like, but I will do that because I want to convince myself, so I can look people straight in the eye and I don't have to lie to them when they ask me, what are you driving? Or if in finance, I sell them some products, some insurance, and if they ask me, well, you lease a car, would you get that? Yes, I would get it, and I did get that, and I can show you, and there's proof. But it's not about the proof. It's about the congruency that I can look people in the eyes and I can tell them, I can guide them to make a decision because I've made those decisions and I know how to make decisions on myself. All right, and people feel that. Again, we can talk about this every time. There are techniques you can learn. There are tactics about sales and closing techniques. But if there's no congruency, if you cannot look people in the eyes and be honest with them, they're gonna feel that. Okay, it still might work, but the percentage, your batting average, is not going to be as high as it could have been. All right, let's move on. So an example of this, it's actually a piece of this. It's really weird, and again, it's a little metaphysics, it's a little quantum theory, because you've already decided on something. You clicked on this video. This video is already, 12 minutes long. You already got that far. That means you're ready, and a small percentage of people that want to do something, that are ready to do something. So just the fact that you're here, that means it's going to be easier for you than a lot of other people. You're ready for this, okay? You're ready to decide. And now let's talk about what you're going to decide. What are you committing to? Well, there are a few things. First of all, your commitment to take responsibility. That's a big one. Responsibility for your outcome from anything and anything that you touch, your career, your income, health, relationship. And again, this is programming your brain. This is not just for whatever ideological reason that you should not expect things from others. That's not what this is about. This is for you to get your brain to start thinking what you can do. Because really, you can't affect the market. You cannot decide to sell 30 cars tomorrow or next month, but you can decide to commit to the program. You can decide to do a little bit better. You can take responsibility for things that you can do, for things that you can change. Just responsibility for what you can control, nothing else. And what it's going to do, it's programming your brain. It's a easy mental hack that works 100%, and just do it. All right. Here's another thing. Responsibility means, on a different level, think about all those action movies or superhero movies. They all kind of a lot of them follow the same structure. The hero's journey, the unwilling hero. Think about Die Hard. Okay, Bruce Willis is not Schwarzenegger, is not Superman, is nothing like that. He didn't want to be there. He didn't come there to fight terrorists, but he finds himself in a situation that he realizes people depend on him. Well, guess what? If you're a car salesperson, you work at a dealership, you know who depends on you? Well, you, your family, your children, but also your whole dealership. Everybody that's not in sales, they depend on you. They depend on you. You are the one that's responsible for the dealership to bring the business in, and to bring business in a way that business is going to come back and people are going to be happy to pay the money because the experience is great. And this is you. You are the hero of the dealership. Whether they realize it or not, really doesn't matter. Batman. Batman doesn't tell anybody who he is. He's Batman. All right. So what are you going to commit to? Commit to anything. Commit to this program. Commit to that you watch or listen to these videos front to end many times. Commit to learn. Doesn't have to be this program. Commit that you will learn something that you can measure, that you will read a book a week, okay, or listen to an audio program a week, or every day find a good YouTube video to watch so you can learn something. Commit to do more. So there are some trainers that look like they're high on cocaine all the time, and they're just going to yell at you. Do more, 10x it, okay? Whatever you do 10 times more. Double your calls, okay? I know that's scary. I know that habits don't change right away. So what I would suggest, if you're just starting, just commit to do a little bit more, okay? Normally you do 10 calls, do 12. Now you're ready to do 12, now change it to 15. Now you go to 20, okay? If you have a problem with closing, that you demo a car and you're just having difficulties, commit to ask one more time. Okay, that's all it takes. Commit to ask one more time. Commit to go to work. That's a big one, and that's a big one for our job because most dealerships, sales managers don't know what we do. They cannot keep track of us 8 hours a day. They can keep track a little bit, but it's up on you, and we'll talk about details of that. But that could be just one simple commitment that if you're there 8 hours, and you're just going to try to work for 8 hours. And do it in a way that you can measure. Again, we'll talk about it in goal setting and tracking and different videos, but start with a commitment and start with a decision today. What are you going to decide? What are you going to improve? And what are you going to do that's different? Thanks for watching.